Hi friends, I am Krishnamon. So today we are going to learn about the configuration management. Okay, you might be heard about the configuration management. Okay, and as a manual tester, you may be taken lightly to know about the configuration management. Okay, so it is a means it is very important whether you may be a developer or whether you may be a test engineer. Okay, whether you may be automation test engineer or a manual test engineer. Okay, so you should have some idea on the configuration management. Okay, because configuration management actually is a support process which is supporting the development process. Okay, then you might be thinking on what aspects this configuration management will be supporting. Okay, as a manual test engineer, okay, you will be making number of documents. Okay, you will be making test plan document. You will be making what you call test design document, or test case document. Okay, or defect report document. But there are number of documents you will be making, and number of documents you will be getting as an input, such as SRS, okay, such as BRS. Okay, so it is very important to maintain those documents. Okay, maintaining means maintaining in the sense, okay, you might be thinking that okay, they are the documents. If you are keeping it in some repository, uh, it is okay, no? uh, why means what is the need of this configuration management? So suppose that you are getting a document, and if you are storing it in some C drive or D drive, and if you are using it, okay, it is well and good, no? Then what is the need of this configuration management? Okay, configuration management is very 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 important, because uh, during the development of the project, there will be number of changes, okay, that will be coming from the customer's end. Okay, and whenever any changes comes, then you have to modify the documents, okay, along with the code. Okay, so suppose that you got the documents. After getting the documents, you have started your activities such as writing the test cases. Okay, but during this course, customer has given some changes. Okay, so what happened? Suppose customer told us, okay, I want a change in the requirement 5. Okay, so according to that, the requirement has been document has been changed. Okay, and you got the new document. Okay, then after some time, the customer again comes to the development company, and he says that, okay, now I don't want that change which I have given you. I want the old one. Then again you have to go to the old one. Okay, you have to get the old document. Okay, if you do modification in the same document, then the old document will be gone. And what about this old document? Okay, then how will you get this old document? Again, he will not be giving the requirement, no? So it is very very important to maintain the versions of the document. Okay, whenever any change comes, okay, you have to change the document, and the versioning of the document should be maintained. Okay, you should have all the versions of the document to be maintained. Okay, then how the versioning will be done? Okay, how will get the change? How the changes are being accepted? Okay, those all thing comes in their configuration management. Okay, in some companies, what happens? They will be taking uh, this configuration management in two steps. Okay, they will be means they will be following two procedures for that. One for the change procedures, and another for configuration management. Okay, but both are linked together. Okay, whenever any change comes, after doing some changes, you have to again follow the configuration management. Okay, and this configuration management will be there from the starting to end of the project. Okay, then what are the things that you have to be included in the configuration management? Okay, see. not only the documents, you have to include the code, even the configuration of the hardware is being given some versions. Okay, so then you might be thinking, okay, this maintaining of these documents, maintaining of the code, okay, is very difficult as a human being. Okay, if I wanted to maintain all the changes which I have done in the code, whenever am doing any change in the code, the version I have to maintain it. That is very difficult for me. Okay, even for the documents also, if for any changes. For every change, if I wanted to maintain a document, and those documents are to be maintained with some particular number given, version number given to it, then it will be very difficult. So there are many companies will be using the tools. Okay, okay, and with you have to use the tools. Okay, because manually it is very difficult to means maintain those versions, as well as to authenticate that. Okay, suppose that we have done the changes but we have not changed the version, maybe. Okay, that may happen because to reduce our efforts. Okay, so it is very important to use some tools. Okay, such as VSS, Visual Source Safe is there, CVS, now GitHub, Git is used being used. Okay, that is what is everything will be for versioning only. Okay, so now I think you got some idea on the configuration management. What is this configuration? Okay, so we'll go. Some means we will not go into deep into the subject. Okay, how what is the process and all. We will be means we will be means to for getting the idea on the configuration management. If at all, if you get any question related to the configuration management in the interview, means while the manual testing interview, then you should be in a position to answer. Okay, so uh, let's go. uh, okay, see, the changes. Okay, the changes are of two types. First one is the adaptive change and the corrective change. Okay, then what is this adaptive change? Okay, first we'll go for the corrective change. Okay, suppose uh, you have delivered the product and you got when customer is being using that product. Okay, after using, while using that product, he got some issue. Okay, issue in the sense uh, he has stuck it somewhere. Okay, it has stopped working. Okay, or there may be some error which has not been detected during the development. Okay, now the customer has detected it. Okay, in that case, what happens again? He has to request for the modification in the code. Okay, so defect fixation has to be done. Okay, to fix the defect, first what he has to do, he has to intimate the development company that okay, so and so issue has been come, you resolve this issue. Okay, that is what is the correction. Okay, if any fault happens, then only we will do the correction. Okay, and what is that correction means? Suppose that okay, uh, if he is doing some activity and submit, so we submitting some form, it is not been happening. Okay, so he will be giving a request, that is what is the change request. Sometimes he will be giving a feedback, or he will be giving intimating the development company through a mail. But whatever it is a change request which the customer is being giving. But this change request is to fix the bug. Okay, fix the defect. Okay, then what the development company will do, they will be having their own the version, the released version. Okay, they will be modifying it in the released version, and they will be testing it, and after testing they will be deploying the updated version to the customer's environment. Okay, so that what it happens. Okay, then in this case also the changes are being done in the code, but these changes are due to the uh, means issue, or due to the defect. Okay, so it is a corrective change. Okay, So you might be thinking, okay, in that case, okay, there will not be any change in the documentation. Okay, yeah, means even though they are not changing the documents, but they are changing the code. So versioning of the code should be maintained. Okay, so okay, in this case, there will not be any extra cost or a extra amount given by the customer, because it is a fault which is being done from the development company's point of view. Okay, so. Okay, this is what about the corrective changes. Okay, then what is this adaptive change? Adaptive, see, adoption. Okay, means adopting the new technology. Suppose that while the development is going on, okay, suppose that the new technology is being introduced in the market. So customer wants that technology is to be incorporated in the project. Okay, then he will, what he will be doing? He will be there will be a form, or he will be intimating the modifications or the changes that are to be done in the project. Okay. In this case, he will be giving the change request form. Okay, and then what about this? Even the, suppose when this adaptive changes will come, when there is a change in the technology, or suppose that some legal means, or government rules and regulations might be changed. Okay, because of that, suppose that I will be giving an example. Suppose before that, SMS gateway is free of cost. Okay, yeah, means free of cost means they have to give the SMS gateway, but they can send any number of messages. But after that, the government has, Troy has restricted the messages. So that's what is the changes. So due to the uh, means change in the government, what you called regulations, okay, or the rules. Okay, because of that also changes may come from the customer's end. Okay, or there may be, suppose that we are developing a project, but market in the market there is a new requirement has been means suppose that suddenly new requirement has come, okay, while doing the market survey. Okay, then that has to be also customer want that requirement also to be incorporated in the project. So in that case also, okay, he may give the new requirements. Okay, new requirements or the change in the requirements. Okay, so whatever the case it is, okay, in adaptive change, but if he wants to adopt to new things, so what he will be doing, he will be giving some new requirements, or he will be giving he may be giving some the change in the requirements. Okay, in both the cases, he has to give the change request form to the development company. What the development company will do then? They will be doing the changes as per the customer's requirement. Then what is the procedure they has to follow is the configuration management or the change management. Okay, so when the configuration management comes into the picture, whenever there will be any changes, okay, and not corrective change, but there should be an adaptive change. Okay, in corrective change, even though there will be versioning will be done, but configuration management fully is not, may not be followed. Okay, because it is only a correction. Okay, we are not doing modification in the requirements. Okay, only code will be changed over here. Okay, right, then hope you understood the concept. Okay, so configuration management comes into picture whenever there is an adaptive change given by the customer. Okay, so after that, okay, see here, uh, need of the configuration management when, see, there will be uncontrollable changes. Okay, definitely customer will be giving changes here and then. Okay, whenever he wants, he will be giving the changes. We can't, as a development company, we can't say that okay, we can't do, okay, these many changes we can't do. Okay, so whenever any changes, because whenever changes comes, means the development company will be making some profit out of it. Okay, means they may be demanding some money out of it, maybe. Okay, so to control the uncontrollable changes, this configuration management will be used. Okay, then because of the lack of traceability, we have to use the configuration management so that we can track the changes. Okay, and we can monitor the changes. Okay, and whenever any updations in the documents are done, okay, those simultaneous updations should be can be monitored. Okay, and see, version management, we can do the versioning. Okay, I will be showing some example document how the versioning will be done. Okay, right. Then what is configuration management? Okay, configuration management is a change control procedure. Whenever any changes comes, this configuration management will be invoked. Okay, uh, it helps in meeting or okay, controlling the versions of the software and hardware configurations. Right. Okay. For maintaining as well as for controlling the versions of the software. Okay, software as well as the hardware. Okay, you might be thinking, okay, you know that in the whenever any market any new release will be done, suppose Java is been Java as a project, if it is been released, they will be having some versions. Okay, Java 3.0, Java 4.0. Okay, that is what is the versioning. Okay, that versioning will be is a part of this configuration management. Okay, and there are two types of versions over here: external version and internal version. Okay, release version and the internal version. Okay, internal versioning will be followed configuration management. In the same way, external version will be also be done, but the both are different. Okay, that version internal some other versions versioning will be followed, and during the release some other versioning will be followed. Okay, that is what is the procedure. Okay, which a company writes. Okay, how the versioning will be done. Okay, then means versioning will always be means in a ascending order only, it will not be in a descending order. Okay, so see, it is used primarily when the software requirement changes. Okay, whenever any change comes, then the configuration management comes into picture. Okay, then you would be thinking, if no change is becoming, then configuration management is not there. Configuration management will be there from the starting to the end. Okay, whenever any first document is being prepared by us, then the configuration management, whenever the project starts, then the configuration will be there, because it is a support process. It will be supporting us. Okay, um, not only the documents which are being prepared by the development company, or suppose documents like SRS, suppose like a test plan, okay, project plan, only not only for only those documents this versioning will be done. Okay, but sometimes what happens, customer will also give some documents to us, such as the use cases. Okay, he may be giving the use cases. Okay, he may be giving some input documents. Okay, and he will be telling that, okay, you don't need to prepare any what you call a requirement document. I am giving the requirements, I will be giving my document, you develop as per these requirements. Okay, so in that way he might be giving some documents to us. Okay, that documents are also to be maintained. Okay, versioning should be done for that documents also. Okay, sometimes what happens, we may be giving some of our work to the third party companies. Okay, suppose we are having some 5 modules. Okay, and 3 modules we will be developing, and 2 modules you might be giving some other company to develop. Okay, in that case, what happens, that development company, what he will be doing, that what they will be doing, they will be developing as per their rules and regulations. Okay, but they will be having the inputs from our end. Okay, input documents from our end, and they will be developing it, and they will be also giving some sort of output to us. Okay, means in the form of documents or in the form of product. Okay, or in the form of some output, there will be some output which they will be giving, and those output we will be integrating with our modules. Okay, so that output will also be should be configured. Okay, so that is what is it is not that configuration management should be done only for the documents and the code in my end. Okay, but it should be done for the input documents which you are getting from the customer, or the documents or the products which you are getting from the external companies. Okay, right. So what is the goal of the configuration management? Okay, establish system and project or the product integrity, and to maintain the integrity throughout the life cycle. That's what it is. Okay, maintaining the integrity, maintaining the changes. Okay, in the documents as well as in the components. Okay, everything. Okay, right. Then this is very important. Okay, what is the configuration management activities? Okay, first one, configuration items, item identification. Okay, so here what are these items? Items are the entities of which we want to include in configuration management. What, sir? Can we have to include everything? No, so whatever you wanted to include, you have to give some ID to it. Okay, you have to give some number to it. Okay, means suppose that if SRS is there, you have to give some unique number to it or unique ID to it. Okay, that's you might be thinking, okay, for every document there will be having a unique ID. Okay, that is what is the configuration management process says. Okay, every document should have some unique ID. So those ID comes from this identification, means because of that ID, that document or that item will be identified. Okay, that is what is the configuration items identification. So first, what you have to do in the configuration item, first we have to identify what are the documents that I wanted to include in the configuration management, and I have to give some identification number to it. Okay, so and where this where this configuration items list of the configuration items will be maintained. Okay, first what you have to do, you have to identify the items, configurable items, and we have to list down in some document. Okay, okay, some companies what they will be doing is they will be maintaining a separate document for the configuration items list. Okay, I will be showing one sample document. Okay, um, right. um, See, configuration item list. This is the sample document which I am showing you. See here, uh, configuration item ID. I have given some IDs to it, but it will not be in this way. Okay, it will be in the alphanumeric. Okay, so this is configuration item ID. Then the name of the configuration item, SRS. Okay, system requirement specification. Okay, everything, whatever the documents which I am using in my project, those documents are to be listed here with the IDs. And the control is very important. Which type of control? Is it a baseline document, or it is a control and manage document, or it is a control document? Okay, then the questions are, what is a baseline document? Okay, then what is a control and manage, sir? And what is a control document, sir? Normally, you might be knowing the baseline document. The baseline document is the document which is being used by the to or which is used to make the other documents. Suppose if SRS is there, this SRS is used to make the design documents. This SRS is used to make the test cases. Okay, so means this document is used to make the other documents. This document is acting as a base for the making of the other documents. So such type of documents should be baselined. So what is this baselining, sir? Okay, this baselining is separate procedure which should be followed. Okay, means some companies what they will be doing is after suppose SRS is there, SRS is before baselining, SRS will be reviewed, SRS will be approved, then they will be doing the baselining. Okay, baselining means there will not be further changes in the document. Okay, once it is baseline there will not be any further changes. Okay, if any changes comes from the customer's end, then only that document will be changed. Okay, and it will not be changed simply. Okay, whenever the changes comes, it will be following the change procedure. I will be explaining what is the change procedure. Okay, how it is being followed. Okay, it will by following the change procedure, then the changes will be done. Okay, those documents which are being based and will be final documents and will not be changed until and unless there will be a change request coming from the customer's end. Okay, that is the baseline document. Then how these baseline documents anyone can change? No, sir. Means according to that the access will be given and the separate tools. So I told you that configuration management tools will be used so that once it is baseline, suppose if I take the example of VSS. Okay, in VSS there is an option of pin. If you want to baseline the document, we have to apply that pin. Once the pin is been applied, then that document will not be only can be used. You can only view, but you can't check out and check in. Okay, so that's what it is, baselining. Okay, then what is this controlled and managed, sir? Controlled and managed or the means we have to keep the documents as controlled and managed if those documents even though those are used for the base for the other documents, but we are expecting continuous changes in those documents. Okay, such as the plan documents. Okay, plan documents will be changing. Means whenever scheduled documents are there, whenever scheduled documents will be changing. No, whenever any one schedule slippage is done, then then all the schedules depending on that particular module will be it has to be modified. Okay, suppose that uh, we have given in test plan or in so suppose if we take the example of the test plan, if I have given writing the what you call for reviewing or for studying the documents, if I have given 5 days. Okay, after that test case writing should be done. Okay, and I have given test case writing some 10 days. Okay, but a test case means what you call document studying of the documents took 6 days. Okay, then what happens? My dates for test case writing will also be changing. Okay, so when the planning documents will be changing continuously during the development, so those documents cannot be baselined. Okay, you should not keep those documents baselined. Okay, we have to make it as controlled and managed. Okay, means whenever I wanted to change it, I should be in a position to change it. As a test lead or as a project manager or a project lead, I should, if I am having the access, I can change it, but it is not compulsory that I have to follow the change procedure. But I will be following the configuration management, means I will be doing the versioning, but I will not going for the change management procedure. Okay, so it is a very deep subject. Okay, so in this short, the control and managed. This what this control will be kept when for the planned documents. Okay, whenever we are expecting changes. Okay, then then the other one which is called as controlled, only controlled. Okay, so suppose means control means the name suggests, okay, we can't do anything for that. We can only put it in control means the documents which we are getting from the customer, okay, or the items which you are getting from the third party, or the tools which you are getting from the third party, those all things should be controlled. Okay, we can't manage it, we can't change it because customer has given some document, we can't change that document because I am not the author. Okay, so such type of documents should be kept it as controlled. Okay, hope you understood. Okay, uh, so you can explain in the interview. Okay, interviewer. Okay, so this is what is the list of the configurable items. Okay, right. So here the first step in the configuration management is the configuration item identification. We have to identify the configuration items and we have to list down in the document. Okay. So here what are the activities that are being done uh, in this? Identify the configuration items and place the work products in the uh, appropriate level of control, which I have told you. Okay, that is what are the levels of control? Baselining, control and manage, and control. Okay, right. And this may be a part of the test plan, sorry, project plan. Okay, or you can maintain a separate document. Okay, there is no compulsory that it should be a part of the project plan, or but it has to be there somewhere. Okay, some document has to be maintained. Okay, identify configuration librarian. Okay, for the project, and okay, assign responsibilities. After that, after identifying the configuration items or the configurable items, what I have to do, I have to means identify a configuration librarian. Means I have to, there is a one designation which I have to uh, means introduce, that is what is configuration librarian. What the configuration librarian, most of the in the projects, the configuration librarian will be the project manager. Okay, or the project lead will be there, who will be the configuration librarian. Okay, then what this configuration librarian will be doing, so he will be responsible for all the activities that are to be done in the project as per the configuration management is concerned. So he is the person who will be maintaining this configuration item list. He will be making the configuration item list. Okay, and there will be a document called configuration item register. Okay, he has to maintain that register. Okay, we will be seeing that. So all the configuration related items, configuration related activities, he will be responsible. Okay, so he has to monitor each and every person whether they are properly following the configuration management or not. Okay, so see, whenever I wanted to do some modification in my document, that my document will be in some repository. Okay, I have to check out that, and I have to do some modification, and I will be doing check-in, and automatically the versioning will be done. Tool will be generating its own version. If I wanted to change my version as per the procedures which are being developed by my company, so I have to change as per my company rules and regulations. Okay, so here the configuration librarian role is to check whether the team members are properly doing the versioning or not. Okay, after the changing is being done, he's been properly versioning is being done or not, properly configuration management procedure is being followed or not. Whenever any changes comes from the customer, he or everyone is following the procedure, change procedure or not. So he is the person who will be taking care of all those things. Okay, so configuration librarian is the new role that you may be coming across. Okay, so most of the time the project lead or the project manager will be the configuration librarian, because he is having the authority to monitor all the team members. Okay, then provide resources to perform the configuration management activities. Resources means provide the tools, okay, necessary tools, such as I already explained you about the VSS, CVS, Git. Okay, you have to provide the tool as well as the login IDs, and you have to give the particular access. Okay, login credentials, and you have to give the access as per the uh, what you call role. Okay, testers will have separate access, the developers will have the testers access, leads will have the separate access. Okay, uh, so suppose plan document is there, test plan document is there, only test lead can do some modifications. The test engineer cannot do. Okay, such type of privileges has to be given. Okay, right. Then prepare the configuration management plan in which the work products are given the appropriate level of control. That is what it is. Configuration management plan has to be maintained. Okay, I will be giving a separate topic on the plans. Okay, there then I will be discussing about the configuration management plan also. Okay, plan, it will be generally the like our project plan. It will be there, and here in that. It will be mentioning when the configuration audits will be done, how the configuration means items should be identified. Okay, and who are the roles who are involved in the configurations to maintain the configuration. Okay, there is a separate team called configuration control board. Okay, CCB. Some companies they will be calling it as a change control board. Okay, then and what are their roles and responsibilities, all those things will be written in the configuration management plan. Okay, so okay, right. Prepare a configuration library with the appropriate level of control mentioned in the configuration management plan, and provide access to all the okay. Add configuration items to the configuration library. Okay, configuration library. Then what is this configuration library, sir? This is the repository where actually you are maintaining the document. First, what happens in the configuration? First, what you have done, you have identified the configurable items, and you have listed down those items in the configuration item list. Okay, that is the document. Okay, after that what you have to do, you have to uh, take the documents. Means we have to suppose if test case document is there, suppose that it is a identify, you are identifying test case document as a configuration item. Then what you will be writing, you will be writing the test case, you will be giving some ID to the test case document, and you will be applying the level of control also. Okay, after that what you have to do, you have to physically, means we have to uh, take the document. Okay, the template of the document, and you have to put the template in the repository, in the project repository. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, um, adding configuration in item in the configuration library. What is this configuration library? What is that library? It contains all the configurable items, no? That's what is the project folder structure. Okay, in which every folder there will be separate document templates will be there. You will be working on that. Okay, so if you are using the tool itself has the repository. That's what is the repository. Okay, it will be stored in some server. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, but if you are not using any tool, then the folder structure which you are maintaining for your project, if you are means this it says that we have to keep the templates in the folder structure. Okay, in the repository, right? After that, what you have to do, whenever you wanted to use it, you have to take the template and you have to use it, and while updating it, you have to change the version and you have to update it. Okay, so okay, prepare the configuration status document with the current status of all the items. So I told you that there will be a document called configuration item register, and the configuration status register also will be there, where the current status of the configurable items will be maintained. Okay, so whenever changes comes, okay, we will be changing the document. So different versions, suppose versions will be there. So those versions should be maintained. Okay, first it was 1.1.0, then 1.2, 1.3, so 1.5, okay, 2.0. Okay, then how these numbers are given, sir? These numbers are given as per the procedure which is mentioned by the company professionals. Okay, they will be mentioning that. Okay, how this versioning will be done, uh, how the main, they will be having the three parts. No, first, suppose 1.01 is there. The first one is if there are any major changes. After the point, if there are any minor changes after the point, they will be changing it. It depends upon the company to company how they are defining the change procedures. Okay, so in the first step, what it happens, we have to identify the configuration items, and we have to list down all the configuration items in the configuration items list. And after that, all the configurable items are to be what you called added in the configuration library. Okay, and we have to maintain the configuration status report also. Okay, or a configuration register. Okay, we have to maintain it in some companies, so they will be maintaining the configuration register. In that only the status will be there. Okay, I will be showing you the status report also. Mm, see here, this is the configuration status report where the IDs are given here. Then configuration item name, and whether it is baseline or see here what are the options wherever control and manage or controlled or baseline. Okay, here we have to mention the versions. See here, this is the current version. What is the current version, and in which date this document is being modified, and who approved this modifications. Okay, CCB is there, some others are also there. Okay, the main thing is the CCB, configuration control board or change control board, and what is the location of the document, where the document is there. Okay, located in the project folder. So we have to give the path over there. So this is the status report. Okay, hope you understood. Whenever any changes comes, first what happens, we have to modify the changes and we have to update the status report. Okay, right. There will be another document called configuration item register also will be there. We'll be seeing that also. See here. This is the configuration item register. See here, and this is this for every document, for every configurable item. This configuration item is register is maintained separately, or they can maintain on the whole one. Okay, see here. Um, Project name, reference, okay, configuration item name, location, where it is means situated or where we have stored the document. Okay, we have to give the path over here. Then the first version, what was the version, and authorized by whom, date of authorization and his signature. Okay, and who reviewed it. Okay, reviewed and who is approved it, and when uh, what you called when they received the updated document. Okay, when this updation is been after means here the authorization and review is been done after the updation, then when it will be uh, kept to use. Okay, that's what it is, received and updated. Okay, updated in the repository. Okay, when you have kept it in the repository so that it will be used for the for what you call modifying the other documents depending on, suppose SRS is there, you have done the modification, we have reviewed it, but you have to keep it in the repository, so that the other persons can view it and they can do some modification in the code, in the test cases. Okay, so that is what this is called the configuration item register. For every item, this register will be maintained. Okay, whenever changes comes, the versioning will be done. Suppose 1.0, 1.2, so 2.0, 3.4, something, the version, whatever the version is, these versions will be maintained here. And when who authorized these versions, and when it is been authorized, when the review of these documents will is being done, and when it has been updated in the repository, that has to be there. Okay, right. So after identifying the what you call configuration items, what we have to do, we have to list down in the configuration item list, and we have to start maintaining the configuration register. Okay, as well as the configuration status report. Okay, and in this way, and who performs all these activities? Configuration librarian will be performing, or he will be writing, he will be maintaining the configuration item, what item list, he will be maintaining the configuration item register, and he will also be maintaining the configuration status report. Okay, right. Then the second one, okay, this is the process which will be going on. Okay, ongoing process. Okay, whether the change comes or whether the change is not come, but this has to be maintained. Okay, if the change is not coming, there will not be any versioning will be there. There will be only one version. Okay. Now, whenever any changes comes, okay, change control. Okay, then what happens? Um any proposed changes shall be required and okay. Recorded by submitting a change request from the CCP. Okay, this is change request form to CCP. This means that okay, now what happens whenever any changes comes? How the changes will be coming when there is a change in the technology that customers want to be incorporated in the project, or whether any change in the rules and regulations or government rules and regulations, or whether customer wants to adopt to the new market requirement. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, well, then the customer, what he will be doing, he will be giving a change request, and the change request is for adaptive changes. Okay, then what happens, to whom he will be giving? Actually, he will be giving to the business analyst. Okay, change request. Then what the business analyst will be doing, he will be doing the primary feasibility study, and he will be means preparing a report, what you call with his recommendations. Okay, and that report, that primary report will be submitted to the CCB. Okay, change control board. I will be telling who will be the part of the change control board. Okay, and the change control board, what they will be doing is they will be performing the impact analysis, okay, of the requirement. What they will be doing, they will perform the impact analysis. Okay, then what they will be analyzing, they will be analyze the feasibility and the impact of the change request on the current status of the project. They will be checking, okay, it is in the coding phase or it is in the testing phase. Suppose it is in the testing phase, then what are the areas that this change request will be affecting or impacting? Okay, whether it is feasible to do modifications or not, if the technology which the customer he wants can be incorporated in the current project or not. Okay, this that feasibility study will be done, as well as the impact analysis. Means what are the areas, what are the other functionalities, what are the documents that we have to change because of this change request. Okay, what is the how much rework we have to done, how much rework you have to do. Okay, how much coding will be wasted. Okay, how many modules are being affected. Okay, they will be doing the impact analysis. Okay, how many more man hours that it will be taking. Uh, okay, to develop these new requirements. Okay, these all they will be checking it. Okay, then then they will be estimate the efforts and the impact in the schedule. Okay, they will be estimating the efforts, so how many more efforts, man hours, how many more man hours that it will take. Okay, and how my schedule, because the schedule is made before only, so how my schedules are being affected. Okay, that is also been checked. Okay, here then they will identify the risks. Okay, are there any risks which are involved because of this what you call change request. Means customer told that okay, the new technology, because they are told that okay, now the new technology has to be adopted. So for adopting those new technologies, what are the what you call risks which are being involved. Okay, they have to identify those risks, and not only identification, they have to plan for the mitigation. Okay, and they have to plan for the contingency also. Okay, so what they will be doing is okay, that they will be identifying the risks, and they will be telling the project manager to document those risks in the risk register. Okay, Um then they will be discussing with the CTOs or the SMEs or the change control board. They will be having the project manager will be there, they will be having the experts, technical engineers will be there, or they will be having the system engineers. Okay, they will be discussing the effect in the project effort and the schedule. Okay, whether it is crossing the schedule or not, whether we are having that much technical skilled persons or not. So all those things will be discussed here. Okay, so after discussing it, what they will be doing is they will be either rejecting uh, the what you call change request, or they can accept the change request. If they are rejecting the change request, then that has to be intimated to the customer, and they have to give the proper reason why they are rejecting it, because no customer will be taking rejection in a positive way. So they have to explain it. Okay, because of this, these many man hours will be increased. If you are ready to pay, then we'll be incorporating it. Okay, or if you agree for it for the late delivery, I will be incorporating it. Okay, means we have to convince the customer on it. Okay, so that is one case. Okay, suppose sometimes what happens, even though it is not impacting the schedule, but because of that, there may be some risks which may be identified. Okay, so those risks, okay, if there are means if that risks are fatal risks, then those risks are to be discussed with the customer. Okay, so these are the risks. If this risk occurs, then what is the what you call the what is the impact on the project. Okay, and is that risk that customer is willing to take or not. Okay, so if any rejection is there in the change request, then it has to be intimated to the customer, and you have to take the approval of the customer. Okay, if we are accepting it, well and good, then we have to follow the change control procedure. Okay, means there is a separate procedure for the change control, means how the changes has to be done by the team members to the documents, how the versioning will be done. Okay, they have to follow those change control procedures. Means they have to do the modification, and they have to do the versioning according to the change control procedure. Okay, then. here okay, inform the customer. That's what I have told you, that those things has to be informed if at all we are rejecting it. Okay, then what else? Status accounting. Status accounting is intimating means maintaining the status of the document. I told you that there is a status report. I have shown you the status document where the current status of the document. I will be showing it again to you. Okay, here there is the current status, current version. See here, what is the current version? We have to that is we have to write here. Okay, and if any manager or the customer or anyone if asks the current version, that it has to be shown. It has to be shared with the customer, or it has to be shared with the higher management. Okay. And we have come across the another document which is or the configuration item register. Item register is for each and every document what are the changes for means they will be having all the versioning, all the versions, but here they will be having only current version. Okay, but what is the difference between the um, what you call the configuration status report and configuration what you call the register, item register? Okay, right, I will be closing it. No. Okay, then so here whenever any changes comes in the PDLCs in SDLC, software development life cycle, or project development life cycle. Okay, documents. What happens? We have to change the artifacts like SRS, high level designs, test case documents. Okay, so those changes has to be done. Okay, so incorporate the after doing the modification in the document, then incorporate the required changes in the code. Code has to be changed. Obviously, when there is a change in the requirement, code should be changed. Then update RTM for change in the existing implement. Okay, impacted requirements. So in the RTM we will be having the requirement IDs and the requirements. Okay, so sometimes what happens, new requirements may be added. Okay, already the old requirements may be deleted. Okay, so you have to modify the requirement traceability matrix accordingly. Okay, so again a new estimation has to be done on the new planning, new estimation. New planning means we have to modify the plan. Okay, not from the starting onwards you should not plan it, but there should be modification in the planning. Okay, we have to estimate it, how many man hours it will be taking to adopt to perform the new requirements, or to develop the new requirements. Okay, we have to update the work breakdown structure. There will be a work breakdown. It is a part of the planning. Okay, where the work will be breakdown. Okay, suppose there are 5 modules. The five we have to break down each and every module. Okay, not only that, it may be done page wise. Okay, form wise maybe. Okay, that's why work breakdown structure has to be modified. A separate document will be there where work breakdown structure will be there, that has to be modified. It is like a scheduling, like a planning. Okay, then the audits. Okay, so in this configuration management there are number of activities which I told you that there will be a okay, we left the CCB. Okay, I will be discussing that CCB. Who are the members who will be there in the CCB? Okay, so in the audits, okay, there are number of activities. Okay, after after getting the change request, BA will be doing some sort of feasibility study, and he will be making the initial report. Okay, uh, and that report is being submitted to the CCB. CCB will be doing the feasibility study, and it will be analyzing the impact. He will be doing the CCB will be doing the impact analysis, and after that, he may be rejecting or he may be accepting. After accepting, there will be a change in the documents, a change in the code. Okay, so there are number of activities being done. Now, even uh, the configuration librarian will maintain some documents such as the configuration item register, configuration lists, item lists, configuration status reports, and all those things. So there are number of activities being done. Okay, so there must be some person. Something should be there who will be checking whether these activities are done properly or not. So that's where the audits comes into picture. Okay, and who will be doing these audits? Okay, they are all the internal audits which are done by the quality assurance people. Okay, so they will be doing these audits after the completion of every phase of SDLC. Okay, after completion of the design phase, after completion of the coding phase, and testing phase, after completion of every phase, these audits will be conducted. Okay, and in those audits, what they will be checking? They will be checking uh, whether the configuration item register is being maintained or not, whether the configuration status report is being maintained or not, configuration items are being identified or not, if at all any changes or the change request from the came from the customer. Do the CCP followed the change procedure or not correctly? Is the feasibility done? Is the feasibility study is done or not? Is the impact analysis or done or not? If any, what you called any, if any risks are identified, are the risks are being documented in the risk register or not? So all those things they will be checking it. Okay, they will be checking it. They will be verifying. Okay, so it is a part of the verification. Okay, so these audits. Okay, that's what it is to monitor the configuration related activities. Okay, here configuration control board. Who will be the members in the configuration control board? Project manager, user representative means BA. Okay, most of the time BA will be there, user representative. Funding manager, the funding manager is the person who actually take care of the budget related activities, whether the new requirement is crossing the budget or not. Okay, uh, budget in the sense not only the money which is given by the customer, but he has to take care about uh, means whether the resources means resources we are means are we keeping more money on the resources or not? Okay, that's funding manager will be taking care of all the budgetary related activities. Okay, then controllers project manager. This is actually contractors project manager is actually a manager who will be taking care of all the contract related activities. Whether he will be checking whether the contract with the customer his requirement is violating that contract or not. Suppose that if the customer has told that okay, this contract is for only for this particular technology, and now he is saying that okay, now I want for actually they have made a contract for Java technology, and now he's asking for .NET also. It has to be developed in .NET also. So he will be taking care about all the means contract related activities. Not only the contract between the customer and the development company, but he will be taking care about the contract between the third party companies also. Suppose um, we have given five modules. There are five modules, and if you have given two modules to the some other third party company, and what happens? There should be a contract between the third party company and our company. So he has to take care about those contracts also. Okay, means whenever any changes comes from the customer, then those changes are to be incorporated with those modules which are given to the third party. But if the contract, if in the contract with the third party company, if these clauses are not mentioned, that changes will be accepted, then there will be a problem. Okay, so he has to take care of all those activities. Then there will be configuration manager. Okay, and quality manager will be there. Means after doing the modification, there will be testing process. Means he has to check what the quality manager will be doing. He will be checking whether the requirements which are given, the new requirements or the modified requirements which are given by the customer is testable or not. Okay. Then the system engineers will be the person who will be checking who will be doing the feasibility study, whether that is feasible or not. Okay, whether our system will be supporting this technology or not. Okay, that we are capable of developing this type of changed application or not. Okay, so they will be taking care of all those system related activities. Okay, so they are all are the members of the configuration control board, and after getting the uh, report from the business analyst, they will be what they will be doing is the all people will be analyzing. They will be doing the feasibility study as well as they will be doing the impact analysis also. Okay, they as per their particular expertise, they will be doing the impact analysis and the feasibility study. Okay, the same thing is change control procedure. Customer submits the change request. BA performs the impact analysis. BA prepares recommendations. BA submits the report to the CCP. CCP deliberates and decides. Okay, approved changes are entered in the configuration management documentation. Traceability matrix is updated. This is what we have discussed. Okay, right. And what are the causes of this change request? Okay, we have this also we have discussed whenever the error which has been occurred at the client side, then the change request will be comes, but this is a corrective changes. Okay, then if there are any external factors, that's what is the any change in the government rules and regulations. Okay, if the customer wants uh, any change in the technology, they want to incorporate that new technology in their project. Okay, then additional capabilities required by the user. Means suppose that if he wants some change in the functionality, suppose that there are some users uh, in the project. Suppose there is a what you call um, there is one user one is there. There are two or three users are there. Okay, in that and there are five modules. Okay, and at present user one is having the access only to the first module. Now the customer wants that user one should have the access to all the modules. Okay, that's what is the change in the requirement. Okay, that type of changes can also be given. That is what is the additional capabilities required by the user. Okay, right. Then improved solution proposed by the technical team. This means that okay, uh, while they have given the requirements to the development company and we have started developing that project, but the expertise in the client side, they have identified okay uh, that process that what you called um, that project should can be done in an improved way also. Okay, they might be suggesting some improvements in the requirements or which can decrease the efforts, which can decrease and which can make the project more user friendly. Okay, maybe. Okay, so sometimes what happens, the customer's technical team can suggest, can come up with the some new improvements. Okay, then also customer can give the change request. Okay, there are some of the causes of the change request. Okay, so hope you understood the configuration management process. Okay, this is not the deep I have explained you. I have explained the overall configuration management. Okay, hope you understood. Okay, later when I will be making the process related videos, then I will be explaining deep to the configuration management. Okay, hope you got some knowledge. Okay, thank you for now.